Hey, how's it going, guys? Benny Childs, founder of the Teach Me to Fish FX trading community, and I am back with another supply and demand weekly market forecast. We're going to be covering Forex, crypto, metals, energy, and stocks. All right, guys, so go ahead and lock in and let's go ahead and get started. All right, here starting out with the US dollar index. All right, we have a short-term institutional bias of sales. We do see where the DXY last week here on the 4-hour chart has created a supply zone here, right? That has price did pull back a little bit into it, but it has not been mitigated. We do have a transitional supply that was created right here where price did come in and mitigate this supply zone, respecting it. So I do think that this short-term bias is going to be a correct bias for us. So I'm going to be looking for essentially plays off of supply, all right, to go ahead and take this market down. Now we do have some demand here, unmitigated demand zones that will need to be removed, and thus we may see a direct push through these zones, or we may see a little bit of consolidation. But as long as supply is being respected and demand is being removed, then we will be selling the DXY index. All right. All right. Moving right along to Aussie USD. All right. Here on Aussie USD, we have a short-term institutional bias of buys. Let me go ahead and get rid of this alert here. Well, I'm going to keep that on there. So what I'm going to be doing on this pair is looking for price to come into demand zones to trade off of, or to take my trades to trade alongside the institutions. We do see here where we most recently created this institutional distribution or supply, and I think we are making our way down to this institutional accumulation or demand zone here. But for the time being, I will be looking for demand to be respected and supplies to be taken out. So we're going to either get a push down into this demand here and maybe an opportunity to take this to the upside, or maybe we will get a push into this supply, have it to break, and maybe turn into a flip zone if no other demands are created here on the 4-hour chart. So that's my plan for Aussie USD. Again, looking for demand to be respected so I can lock in some buys. But however, guys, we are very flexible with the market, even though we have a short-term institutional bias of this pair being bullish. If demand is starting to be taken out and supply is starting to be respected, then we want to go ahead and trade with the institutions, trade with the market. But from the onset, I will be looking for longs on AUD USD. Okay. Pound USD, short-term institutional bias at sales. Excuse me. Now we do have an unmitigated supply zone here, as well as more unmitigated 4-hour supply above that. So initially, I am looking for this pair to maybe come up into this supply area and trade to the downside along with the institutions if that is respected. Now I do have confirmation method, if you will, that I'll be looking to take. But if not, if you don't have a confirmation method, or if you just really don't have time to be on the charts to wait for your confirmation to come through, then feel free to go ahead and set your pending orders, guys. All right, go ahead and set your pending orders for the zone, for the 4-hour zone. Of course, I want you guys to uh, make sure you're practicing proper account risk management. But typically what I would do is maybe give it like 5 pips of breathing room for that pair. Um, but again, in this case, I would be looking for that confirmation. I would need to see that confirmation um, because we have so many, we have so many reasons for this market to continue up a little bit more before that push down. If that is going to be the case, we have imbalance as well as supply here, supply here. We have supply, unmitigated supply. I'm always looking for it to take my trades off of the unmitigated zones, but we have unmitigated 4-hour supply sitting in this institutional distribution area here that could act as a magnet for this market to push up. These are certainly liquidity or areas of liquidity where, because pound USD has been, on a downtrend for the longest, and certainly we have stops resting above these highs, above these supply zones. So, um, again, if that is the case, again, we do, I remain flexible. So if I start to see demand being created and respected, then I'm looking to take that pair or to take that trade long. Maybe I'll end up with a break even or a 1-to-1. Who knows? But we just have to be flexible and know exactly what we're looking for. And being supply and demand traders, we're looking for supply and demand. All right. So now we did have 1, 2 lows that were taken out by the market. Now, time will tell if this was just a liquidity grab, or if price will actually come back up into this unmitigated supply zone to further down. But again, we have a lot of reason for this market to go further to the upside. But again, we just have to see what what zones are being respected. Is it the supply zones or is it the demand zones? And of course, as I always say, wait for confirmation. Okay, so that's pound USD, guys. USD CAD, all right, short-term institutional bias that we have here is bullish. All right, so I will be looking for from the onset, looking for demand to be respected. All right, so I have some mitigated 4-hour demand zones here marked out. So I'm just waiting for price to come into these areas, look for my confirmation entries, and I'm taking it long. If I'm not going to be at the charts, then I'm going to put in my pending orders. All right. Now, I typically don't take the entire zone when it comes to pending orders. However, it really just depends on how fluid the market is. All right. How fluid that currency pair is, because we may be dealing with a pair that wicks all over the place, like pound NZD. That is a pair that will wick all over the place. If not necessarily wick, but it will take liquidity from both sides. All right. So if you know that you're in a pair that does that, then yes, you want to make sure that you're refining your zones, making sure that you're waiting for your confirmation entries before getting in. But typically, the majors they don't do that. Pound USD may do that, but typically the majors won't do that. Pound USD and USD Mexican peso, um, they will grab liquidity from both sides, and sometimes you won't know what the pair is doing, and so it's best to really just wait for confirmation entry, or maybe to take zones like at the extreme. If you're going to set a pending order, maybe take the zones that are at the extreme. Okay. All right, so again, USD CAD, short-term institutional bias is bullish. So for me, again, I'm looking for these unmitigated demand zones to be respected to get in to trade alongside the institutions. But again, hey, if demand is being taken out and supply has been respected, then we have to be flexible, right? We ourselves have to be fluid enough to realize, oh, okay, supply is being respected. So uh, maybe this short-term institutional bias has already been played out by the larger institutions. Now, I do have my method or uh, resources that I look at to help me to better determine what side that the market may be going to. But that is for the mentorship community. But nonetheless, USD CAD, from the onset, I'm going to be looking for demand to be respected and as well as supply to be removed. Here's a supply zone I didn't mark up here. All right. All right. Move right along to Euro USD. All right, short-term institutional bias is bearish for this pair. So from the onset, what I want to see happen is supply to be respected. Okay, we did have a tap into this institutional um, accumulation or demand. So um, it's gonna be a little tricky there because we're freshly coming off of again this institutional accumulation. So orders have been closed out, sell orders have been closed out, buy orders have been fulfilled. So um, sorry about that. All right. So we just got to be a little careful. Okay, we just got to be a little careful to make sure that we have this direction correct. So again, from the onset, looking for this supply to be tapped into, be looking for confirmation to take this further down, possibly into this unmitigated institutional accumulation zone here. But nonetheless, guys, again, hey, if we start to see where demand is being respected, then we're going to take buys. Okay, I don't mean to necessarily come to you guys and uh, not have a definitive for you, but I just want to share with you what it is that I'm looking for and also the institutional bias for these particular pairs. Okay, and also maybe just kind of giving you guys further confirmation or confidence, rather. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Further confidence in your own supply and demand trading strategy. Okay, so again, Euro USD, we're looking for this to be bearish, uh, and so therefore, again, we're looking for supply to be respected and demand to be taken out. USD JPY, short-term institutional bias is bullish. Okay, so I'll be looking for. I mean, we're long overdue, I would say, for a pullback. So you guys can see where this market has gone up and pulled back. So um, again, looking for the Japanese yen to be a little weak against the US dollar this upcoming week. So again, um, I want to see this demand. There we go. That would be the unmitigated demand. All right. So I want to see that unmitigated demand to be, I would like to see it to be respected so I can take some buys. Of course, again, waiting on confirmation. All right. Hate to sound like a broken record, but I really want to help you guys out as well as I need to hear myself say this as well. So I'm making sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do as well. So we have a couple of unmitigated demand zones here um, that's closer to price. Unfortunately, the data I can't get enough data to see what it's looking like on the upside. But nonetheless, if this pair wants to go up, then again, we just wait for demand to be created and respected, and we get in along with the institutions. All right, USD Swiss. Short-term institutional bias is bearish, so I am looking for sales. We do see where this transitional, I'm sorry, wrong tool. We do see where this transitional supply was created. All right, price came out, tapped back in, filled some sell orders, and it has pushed down. So again, simply, I'm looking for supply to be created, and more than likely, maybe this will be a unmitigated transitional supply zone that maybe we'll see price tap into during the open, and maybe I can take some confirmation trades going down. Okay, worst case scenario, or maybe not worst case scenario, but best case scenario, wait for this demand to be taken out, have it transform into a flip zone. If not, maybe a supply zone that will be created that took out this demand that maybe we can take some sales on. So I'm gonna put this back on here for me. Okay, so that's essentially what I will be looking for, guys. And just to share with you guys, as far as your take profit areas, guys, you want to make sure you're taking a look at. I'll leave that there. You want to make sure you're taking a look at the lows. Okay, you can take profit at your various peaks, or I will say low side peaks, high side peaks, as well as the fulfillment of imbalance or candle gaps. Okay, these are the places you want to be looking to either close your trades or take partial profits, leaving runners behind. All right. All right, let me just get these off of the chart. All right. USD Mexican peso, guys. Short-term institutional bias is long on this pair. We closed the week out sitting inside of this demand. So maybe we'll get an immediate confirmation entry here. I do see where we have imbalance as well as demand, imbalance as well as demand, imbalance as well as demand, imbalance as well as demand. So be careful. Just wait for the market to get into your zone. Wait for your confirmation, and you know, see what takes place. And again, if supply is being created and it's being respected, then the institutions have already fulfilled their direction as far as the short-term bias. So just be flexible, be fluid, allow the market to do what it's going to do, set up your zones and trade from those zones. Okay, so again, on the onset, I'm looking for confirmation inside of the zone, and maybe, you know, partial profit, or, you know, break even, starting with this imbalance fill here, and then maybe this imbalance fill, as well as this high and this high. Okay, so all right, that's USD Mexican peso. NZD USD. All right, short-term institutional bias for this pair is long. We are coming out of institutional accumulation here. So I don't see why this pair wouldn't go long. We did have a break of this high here. We had a structural break. We had a structural break off of this zone. This is the zone that created that structural break. So maybe we will get price to come back down and go ahead and fill the orders for the zone here. Looking for our buy trades. All right. So again, wait for confirmation, set your pending orders, however you want to do it. Take profit at imbalance as well as your pivot points, if you will, or your highs and your lows. Just be on the lookout for that. And hey, again, if supply is starting to be respected, then you want to trade with the markets, all right, and start selling this market. Okay. I do have an unmitigated supply here, so this would be the supply that I would necessarily be looking to take sales from. But again, I will remain flexible and fluid for any transitional supply zones that may be created that I can take trade this market to the downside. All right, moving right along with Bitcoin. Bitcoin institutional bias is short. All right, so looking for supply to be respected. All right, do have unmitigated supply here. Okay, so be looking for this market to come into that supply zone, that unmitigated supply zone. We could do see where the market has been pushing up to that supply zone. So maybe sometime this week we'll hop into this supply zone and be able to take this down further. Our next unmitigated supply is up here. We are coming freshly out of, well, not freshly, but we are coming out of an institutional accumulation zone. So we just want to see if supply is going to be respected. So again, it's the strategy is very easy. Supply and demand is very easy. It's very institutional. You just wait for your areas of interest to be created, and you're simply just waiting for price to get into that area. Wait for your confirmation. Set your pending order and see if you can trade along with the institutions. So again, I'm looking for supply to be respected here on Bitcoin. And guys, listen, you don't have to necessarily day trade this. All right, this is good for your long-term portfolio. All right, I'm a long-term investor. All right, I do have a Bitcoin index inside of my stock portfolio. And simply, guys, I dollar cost average whenever I get to my zones. All right, when I get to my zone, um, typically on a demand zone, then I go ahead and throw a little cash in. Okay. All right. So you don't necessarily have to day trade this because I know a lot of times that the spreads on Bitcoin can be huge. All right, depending on your broker. So you don't necessarily have to day trade this, but there is a method for you to um, do some long-term investment with Bitcoin. Ethereum typically it's going to follow Bitcoin. We do see where we came close to this unmitigated 4-hour supply zone here. So maybe we will get a tap into this to close out some of the buy orders that were put in to push the market down from this point, and maybe get some fulfillment of some sell orders. Now we do have imbalance as well as other unmitigated supply here that this market could go up to that point and then turn around. But we're very close to this supply zone here. So we just want to take a look to see what's going to be respected. Now we do have this transitional demand right here where me personally, if that is taken out, I can look to possibly take a scalp. I don't know where the stop loss would be right now. I would just have to see how the market is structured, if that is taken out. But I would probably be looking to take partials or do a break even uh, at the fulfillment of this imbalance, or maybe even this imbalance will probably be my first break even, or partial profit slash break even, because that's typically what I do. I typically take partial profits as well as move my stop to break even. Okay, so just a couple of plays that we could possibly take there on Ethereum. Okay. All right, guys, let's move right along to gold. Short-term institutional bias is bearish for this pair. So again, we're looking for supply to be respected and demand to be taken out. Okay. Um, so we want to see if price is going to come up into the supply, wait for our confirmation, or set our pending order here. To be honest with you guys, just to give you a little sauce, I typically will not set a pending order on these middle zones, if you will. All right, I will set a pending order for a uh, pinnacle point, if you will, or an extreme zone. A zone like at a pivot, or a zone at a high or a low. Um, uh, but I typically will not do that for the zones that are sitting in the middle of the market. Okay. So again, looking for gold to possibly push up into this supply zone here, and give me a confirmation to take this to the downside. Same thing with silver. Short-term institutional bias uh, is bearish. All right, so I'm looking for supply to be respected and demand to be removed or disrespected. So from the onset, I'm looking for price to come into the zone, get my confirmation to take this down, further. Again, we do have uh, reason for the market to push up further. All right, we do have imbalance as well as supply, imbalance as well as supply, imbalance as well as supply, as well as just the liquidity that is resting above these highs for the market to take. So just be on the lookout, guys. Again, set your pending orders at your pivotal points, and or wait for your confirmation. Okay, wait for your confirmation. All right, moving right along to U.S. oil. U.S. oil short-term institutional bias is short. All right, so again, we're looking for supply uh, to be created and respected. Um, the first unmitigated supply that I see is up here for U.S. oil, sitting at 110. 110.02, or $110.02. All right, so just be on the lookout for demand to be created and respected, but know that that could possibly be a manipulation for the banks for us to think that the market is going to go higher, but in fact they could be pushing this down. So again, we just simply, guys, we're simple over here on this channel. All right, so we're just simply waiting for the market to come into our supply and demand zones, waiting to see if we get confirmation, and to see if that is the direction that the market, or that the institutions are going to take the market. Okay. All right. My baby guys, SPX 500. All right. The S&P 500 index. Short-term institutional bias is short on this pair. We are very, very close to a demand, excuse me, to a supply, and I just need to readjust that. All right, so there is our unmitigated supply. We do have unmitigated supply, as well as an institutional distribution zone that has yet to have been mitigated. So just be on the watch, guys, for these supplies to be taken out and demand to be created and respected. But on the onset coming in, I'm looking for some trades off of supply to take this to the downside along with the institutions. So guys, we are in a recession here in America. not to mention maybe, around the world, but definitely here in America. Um, so I don't expect for uh, individuals to be putting in longs, for the stock market. Um, not long term, but maybe we you may be able to take some option trades off of demand. Um, but if I'm day trading this, or yeah, if I'm day trading this, then yeah, I'll be looking for puts off of supply. But again, yeah, I'm looking forward to taking some shorts this week as long as supply is respected. But hey, if supply is taken out because of liquidity and maybe uh, imbalance fills, then that's what I'm doing. I'm trading alongside institutions. I'm trading alongside what the chart is showing me. All right. Um, Now we did have a break of this low here. Here, I'll just grab the arrow. We had a break of that low there. So that kind of gives me further confluence that, hey, maybe this market does want to continue to the downside for a little longer. So yeah, I'll be looking again for shorts off of supply unless supply has been taken out. Um, Highs have been taken out as well. So that's what we're looking for on the SPX 500. All right. The NAS 100 short-term institutional bias is bearish or short. So looking forward to taking some. Uh, I'm sorry, guys. My zones have been not on it, but yeah, we're looking to take some shorts off of unmitigated supply. Okay. More than likely, maybe that high will probably be ran. Liquidity will be grabbed. Maybe they'll tap into this demand here, but excuse me, this supply. But nonetheless, again, I'm looking for supply to be respected. So again, I'm looking for uh, the market to tap into my supply areas. I'm waiting for confirmation. At this point here, I would probably push that up. I could set. I wouldn't mind setting a pending order here. I wouldn't mind doing it. Um, it's just that, and I'm just gonna put this in here. Oops. It's just that, hey, we have liquidity resting here as well as supply. So yeah, probably this pivotal point, I probably would not put in a pending order. Just kind of be waiting on confirmation. Maybe here I would have a set a pending order for that to see how the market plays out there. But again, I'm looking for supply to be respected, demand to be removed. All right, to take this market to the downside along with the institutions. But again, if they're showing us that demand, that they're going to respect the demand and respect the fulfillment of buy orders, then that's what we're going to do, right? All right. Moving right along to US 30, last but certainly not least. Man, this is a good median between the SPX and NAS 100. Typically, the US 30 Forex instrument is going to be lower spread than the NAS 100. It's going to move a little bit. It's going to be a little bit more volatile than the S&P 500, giving us greater gains. So I do like to keep US 30 in my bag. I've actually maybe been thinking about coming from the S&P 500 as far as day trading, um, but nonetheless, I think this is a good marrying as far as volatility, as far as market structure, as far as just the respecting of some high probable supply and demand zones. I really like US 30. So short-term institutional bias is going to be long. So I'm looking for price to start respecting these demands. I have a couple of unmitigated demands here that I'll be looking for price to come into and trade to the upside. Now, again, guys, hey, if we start to get supply being taken out, here is an unmitigated supply zone. I would just go ahead and take that week there. Is that mitigated? Nope, it's not mitigated. So yeah, we have an unmitigated supply zone. So yeah, if this particular supply zone right here is taken out, I'm looking for it to turn into a flip, and or looking for the demand zone that caused this to be taken out. It's a little sauce there. I'm looking for the demand zone that caused this to be taken out, and I'll be able to take the US 30 to the upside from here if we don't get that pullback into this unmitigated demand, filling in this imbalance here. So all right, guys, that is going to be it for me for this week's supply and demand weekly market forecast. We covered Forex pairs, crypto, metals, energy, and stocks. Guys, please feel free to head over to the website, the teachmetofisheffects.com. Check out the content that we have there. If you're not a subscriber of this channel, please feel free to subscribe. If you want to be a part of the mentorship program, feel free to join that. I go even more in depth, as well as share some other resources with you guys to really help you guys on your market direction, and just really just encourage you guys in your trading psychology. So that's pretty much what we want to do, guys. Create a community, a supportive community where we become successful traders. All right, guys. As always, please remember, if you stay in God, you will stay in control. Until next time, happy pip fishing. Bye bye.